between 2040 and 2045, something very, very dramatic is happening. And I thought at first it was a single thing, but no, as I do the analysis of the data, so now I've got about 6,000 people who have done this. As I do this data, I do the analysis of this data, I think it's a group of a confluence of things which are going to happen. Climate change is one. What I now call the Great Schism trend, which is splitting us into two countries, a red country and a blue country. The end of the internal combustion engine, which they all describe. When I talk to them about vehicles, they say, well, it's not powered by gasoline. I do know that they describe a kind of energy which is, you get a box and it gets warm, but they can't explain quite how it works. See, the problem is, if you go too far into the future, you can't understand what they're saying. The large consensus majority of the remote viewers, none of them talk about overpopulation. They talk about the population as being smaller. The thing that I'm worried about is the creation of a new hominid species, Homo superior, that arises because of the CRISPR technology, the genetic engineering, and which, of course, will be available to very wealthy people first. And so what happens, and will gene line from generation to generation. So what happens if you create 100,000 Homo superiors? What happens to the Homo sapiens? AI and the weaponization of misinformation is, I'm afraid, going to be the big issue for the next 10 or 20 years. I'm not quite sure, because when I do these questions with the remote viewers, they say things to me that I just never even thought of. There are going to be 3 major migrations in the United States, and we're talking about millions of people away from the coasts because of sea rise, which is going to result, by the way, in a $1 trillion collapse of real estate values. So big migration out of the Southwest because of temperature and because of lack of water, and out of the central states because of cataclysmic weather events like tornadoes. They talk to me that people no longer work in big office buildings in cities. That's already happening. I don't get a lot of stuff from remote viewers about contacting extraterrestrials. I wrote a novel called Awakening that is about everything I know about this whole subject. But I don't see anything about a big contact. I think if it's going to happen, it will happen after 2060, because we are at this crossroads where we're now either going to transform ourselves into a new kind of country like the founders intended, or we're going to literally allow pollution, microplastics, carbon energy, toxins, whatever, to destroy us.